It's really difficult to find people who are motivated to work and who want to live up to our standards.
After owning the hotel for just 6 weeks, Rena found working a bit much, so she took the weekend off in Minneapolis, 200 miles away, and she didn't return for 3 months. While she was away, the hotel was left at the mercy of her younger sister, Vanda. Vanda considers herself very hardworking, although she doesn't get out of bed until 3 o'clock every afternoon, leaving the hotel understaffed. Are they owners as well?
They're investors.
They're investors.
So your parents bought you this place?
Yes. The moment we saw this place, I knew I had to have it. So I found every single way possible to convince my daddy. No matter what I had to do, I just had to have it.
My God, this chick is 32 years old and she still calls her father daddy like she's 6. People work under her? Rena and her younger sister Vanda, who is 27, are in charge of the Calumet Inn, a historical monument that their daddy purchased for them for $300,000. Not only that, but they are trying to hide the fact that their parents are doing all the work by calling their father an investor and their mother a housekeeper. What a joke. They are taking charge of people when they haven't earned their position at all. This seems to happen quite frequently when women run things. They try to flip words around to conceal the reality of their situation instead of doing actual work. And I say that from extensive experience. Being a former yoga teacher, I've worked for many female business owners. I've worked for several female entrepreneurs who had their rich husbands subsidize their failing yoga studio. I worked for a manager at a gym whose mommy got her the position. She was probably the worst manager I've ever had. And last, a few years back, I had a studio owner ask to meet with me to talk to her about how to put yoga videos on the internet, where she basically asked me to do all the camera work, all the audio, and all the editing for free. So with that said, this episode of Hotel Hell triggered some harsh flashbacks from my past, and it was very triggering to watch Rena and Vanda be responsible for people's livelihoods, considering how incompetent they are.
You know how to use this?
So they have been working at a hotel for months, and they don't even know how to use the cash register. Let me repeat that. They have been working at their business for months, and they don't know how to accept money from their customers.
What do you do?
I'm seriously still confused what my role is here. I feel like I don't understand.
You own the place, you don't know what your role is.
Maybe that's just because they haven't had any actual customers, so they haven't had to do any real work yet. I can't imagine why nobody wants to give them business.
Is that mold in there?
I wouldn't be surprised if it were mold. This is the broccoli cauliflower.
Right.
Get you a new drink.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. So sorry. Taste it. Just a small bit.
Look. I would not spend my money here at the restaurant. No. I think the food sucks.
You don't see that as a giant red flag? You are expecting people to pay you for food that even you wouldn't eat. When you start a business and you don't have any customers, you don't just sit around all day and wait for people to show up. Your job, until people start paying you, is to spend every waking second trying to turn your business into something people want to spend money on. But they aren't adult enough for that. I mean, they are 27 and 32, and their mommy still cooks their meals.
How many times a week do you cook for your daughters?
7 days a week.
Those babies need to grow up.
Jeez. Imagine dating one of them. And ladies, I say this as someone who cooks all of his own food. Cooking is not that hard. Hell, Gordon Ramsay has his own YouTube channel where you can learn how to cook for free from a world-class chef. But I bet that most of you don't even know how to keep a knife sharp. Cleaning isn't that hard either. Do you know how easy it is to clean mold out of a refrigerator? Some bleach in about 5 minutes will keep that thing clean for months, if not years. They aren't even doing the basics. I mean, certainly, Daddy purchased the hotel for only $300,000, so he probably isn't going to be able to afford to refurbish all 36 rooms, but you don't have to do that. In a business situation where you don't have the money to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, you need to focus on the highest priority things that people care about. And it turns out that most people don't care about all the bells and whistles. Even with YouTube, a lot of people think you need to have phenomenal editing to run a successful channel. I can assure you that it does not matter how well you can edit if your content sucks. So with a hotel, if you show people a nice, competent staff who know the area, if you show people amazing food, if you show people spotless rooms, they will attend your business. And those things are nearly free compared to what it would cost to remodel the entire hotel. However, the sisters are too busy blaming all their problems on their staff instead of trying to figure out what their customers want.
Why is this hotel in such a state?
We have a lot of problems with the staff.
It's so hard, Gordon, to just repeat myself.
What are the problems?
Rudeness, unprofessionalism.
There is a chronic disease here of complaining and bitching.
So we've got a big problem with the staff.
Yes, we do. You're welcome for the jobs. You're welcome for the tips. You're welcome. You're welcome.
A key sign of a terrible manager is that they don't realize that they set the culture of the business. They determine how their staff acts, and they even determine what kinds of customers show up to their business. If there is a chronic disease for complaining and bitching, that's the manager's fault. Where do you think the staff learned that behavior was acceptable? From the manager. Everything here is just a projection from Rena and Vonda. They say their staff is rude, and they say their staff is unprofessional. Well, do you think that not knowing how the cash register works is professional? If your staff is rude to you, it's because you're rude to them. And the great thing about this show is that we get to hear both sides of the story. So let's hear what the staff has to say about Vonda and Rena.
How would you describe the owners?
Vanda is borderline sociopath. The other one, I don't know. I can't describe her. She's never here. I want to tell Gordon if things don't change, nobody's going to be here. The Calumet will close.
The two owners, do they know that you can run this place?
No, we are all incompetent to them.
Wow, what frustrates you most about the two sisters?
Vanda's a micromanager. She's very cynical. She doesn't even get up off her ass and help. If it's busy, she doesn't care. And Rena is a pansy. Can't stand that.
Well, their general manager hates them. That probably has nothing to do with the fact that they demoted her, the only competent employee, and took her place. That's a problem. They should have been kissing their GM Mandy's ass until they learned every facet of the business and then took over, instead of arrogantly swiping the position away from her just so they could have a fancy title.
Who's the most assertive out of the sisters?
Vanda, because Rena's not here.
No. How committed are they to running the business?
Don't care. I think they look at it as like, well, I own it, so we can do whatever we want.
No.
Sleep till 3 in the afternoon, keep the bar open till 5 in the morning. I mean, how do you respect somebody who does that?
Oh, no.
I used to love my job, and now I hate it.
I can see what's not working for you.
And the owners.
Great. Your waitstaff and your chef hate you too. Do people work hard and give their all to people they hate? No. So you shouldn't see their behavior as a shock. Also, there's something here that particularly bothers me about the huge entitlement of, we own this business so we can do whatever we want. No, you can't. You came into something that was already established, and you have other people's lives at stake. It's your job to keep them employed, not to act like arrogant children. This hotel is not some collector's item your daddy bought you so you can show off to your friends. Real people work here. And what an insult to the customers who have worked their hard jobs only to mistakenly waste their money at this business.
So let's start with yours.
I'll tell you, the room was very disappointing. We look for historic buildings when we go places, and this was just a shame. It was like it was neglected.
It was run down to the ground before we purchased this place.
For about 10
For
years.
10 years.
You've got to stop blaming people.
Nobody cares about the condition you bought the hotel in. Hell, a lot of the complaints were simply about the ugly wallpaper. All you would have to do is tear the wallpaper down, repaint the rooms, and change the linens. Maybe redo the rugs too. All of that is extremely cheap, and when you look at the makeovers that were done, that is literally all they did. With the exception of maybe the rug, all of that can be learned on YouTube for free and be done without professional help. They could have been doing this instead of drinking all night or taking a 3-month vacation because things got too hard.
Would any of you come back to stay here?
Absolutely not.
Not one of you.
Well, that makes sense, considering that this is how they respond to criticism.
I'm not going to tolerate disrespect. You know, we're not getting paid. We're not paying ourselves.
You can't, as owners, complain about not being paid. You have turned every member of staff against you. Have you ever employed one single member of staff?
She even worked a day in her life.
How could you say that, Jen?
You can't say that. You don't know me at all.
Life. You don't.
When you were here for 2 seconds, you know, I've been running my ass off for 3
You guys don't see me do these things. I do them, but you guys don't see it. You don't know the life behind all. You have no clue. You don't stop.
You don't know me. My God, that is the most basic non-argument that women use all the time. And it's coming from two women who have done nothing. The reality is that if they were actually working, then the staff and the customers would notice the fruits of their labor. They would say things like, "Wow, Rena, you work so hard, I never see you take a break." Instead of multiple employees complaining that Rena is never at work and cries all the time. It's insulting to watch them get offended when their employees bring up the very obvious fact that Rena and Vonda are lazy.
Do you honestly think that you are capable of running this hotel?
When I want something bad enough and when I have my mind up to it, I always accomplish.
At 32 years of age, tell me one thing that you've accomplished in your life on your own.
I worked when I was 14 at a fast food place.
Are you serious? You want me to get impressed with that?
No, but I'm just saying.
That's pretty good. Hell, I'm surprised that she was even able to get a job.
Rita, does she always run away when things get hot?
Yeah.
Now, does everyone see the problem with giving people positions of power they don't deserve? This is what you get. A bunch of entitled, arrogant children who don't care about the lives they are destroying. And there are many examples of this in today's society. Hell, there was one that just went viral. I'm sure a lot of you have heard what's happening with Marvel. They picked up a bunch of writers who were obvious diversity hires, and those writers are tanking a business that has survived for 80 years. How about instead of hiring someone because she's a woman, you hire her because she is a good writer? How about instead of hiring an African-American non-gender conforming Zer to get more points with the Oppression Olympics, you employ someone who knows what the fans want? This is exactly what happens when you let SJWs run things. They destroy everything in their path. And it's these very people who are always shouting about how they are the most kind, the most helpful and caring and moral people. Really? Do you care about all the comic book stores that are going to go out of business because nobody's going to buy a book with two lead characters named Safe Space and Snowflake? Do you care about all the industries that are dying because you spend more time on propaganda than actual storytelling? It sounds like you care a lot more about your paycheck and your job title than you do about all the livelihoods of those people who are going to lose their jobs and their businesses. Feminists love to complain about men owning everything. Well, do you want to know why men are always at the top? It's because no one gives men anything. We don't get laws that force us onto company boards like women do. We don't get gender quotas. We don't get lowered standards in the military so that we can have a higher rank while being less qualified. When people hand you everything on a silver platter, you don't learn the necessary skills you need to survive on your own. You don't push as hard, and you don't do things like you mean it because you know someone is just going to do the work for you when you fail. You want to know something else? Men feel ashamed when they are given things they didn't work for. However, women feel accomplished when they use their vagina to get things they didn't earn. And when you do that, this is what you get.
I would myself asking you to run my dog up the hill, let alone a hotel.
And with all that said, that's enough for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, comment and share. If you would like to support this channel, then you can do so with PayPal, Patreon, or Subscribestar. All of those links are on my channel page or in the description. And last, don't forget to check me out on Bitchute and Facebook. You can also find those links in the description or on my channel page. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.